At it since about 8 o'clock last night on the east side of the city.
Devastating video there. No word yet on a cause, and so far, no reports of injuries. Also breaking out of Stockholm, Sweden, the Nobel Prize for Medicine goes to Americans Harvey J. Alter and Charles M. Rice and Michael Houghton of Great Britain.
Now they win for their discovery of the hepatitis C vaccine, which the Nobel Committee says has helped attack a major global health problem that causes cirrhosis and liver cancer in people. President Donald Trump could be discharged from Walter Reed Medical Center as soon as today. That's according to the White House doctor who says the president's condition continues to improve. Now, yesterday, the president left his hospital quarters and took an unannounced drive past supporters on the street.
He also suggested in a Twitter video that he's learned a lot about COVID-19. Hours earlier, the president's medical team reported his blood oxygen level dropped to concerning levels twice in recent days. New this morning, the Early Childhood and Community Center in Detroit Lakes is shutting down today and tomorrow after someone there tested positive for coronavirus. A Facebook post says they were notified that the person was at Lincoln Education Center on September 29th and 30th, last Monday and Tuesday.
All programming at the facility is canceled today and tomorrow in order to clean, disinfect, and await further guidance from the state health department. Staff and families of children who were in close contact with the positive case will be notified and required to stay home until October 13th. Now, people who experience COVID symptoms should contact their healthcare provider. It's back to class at home again today for thousands of kids in Fargo. Just as families were getting used to an already complicated school schedule this year, a majority now have to switch it all up again.
Fargo Public Schools says many students will begin distance learning today for at least 2 weeks. The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod joins us live with a breakdown this morning. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Jordan, Lisa. After already starting off the school year with changes, a month later, they're going through changes again. Now, this includes high school and middle school students doing the distance learning, while the elementary students are going to stay with the hybrid approach. And this will impact 11,000 students. Now, during this time, students will use Zoom and EdCal for class sessions. Each session will be 65 minutes. Students have to stay on for a minimum of 45 minutes and until their homework is complete. Students must also show their faces for attendance purposes. The breakdown of their class periods and upcoming virtual teacher conferences can be found on the Fargo Public Schools website. Now, this is expected to only last 2 weeks. The Fargo Public Schools COVID-19 and Structural Plan Committee will meet later on today to discuss the phased approach that goes with the elementary students, and this is to get them to be in the in-person classes starting October 19th. That meeting will be this afternoon or this later on today. Also tell you that this is a temporary change. This is supposed to last 2 weeks. We'll have to see what happens in 2 weeks. But of course, once we do, we'll let you know. All this information can also be found on our VNL News app, so go ahead and check that out if you get confused in any way.
It is sometimes confusing, a lot to remember in this busy time of year for a lot of families.
Especially if you have kids in different grades as well. Right. Elementary doing this, high school doing this, and it always seems to be changing.
Exactly. Let's get a check now of our First Alert Storm Team forecast. It's chilly out there right now, but Lisa, it sounds like a pretty nice week ahead of us.
We are looking at some warmer weather ahead this week and generally dry conditions. Can't rule out a couple of showers here and there. And this morning it's clear. We are looking at our Grand Forks, home of Economy Sky Cam. We've been keeping an eye on that little tree there. It's been blowing around in the wind with some breezier conditions here this morning. And those winds are helping to keep our temperatures up. So not as cold as we have been lately. And we're not talking about frost this morning. That's welcome. We're looking at 40s to some low 50s. So not too bad out there. 48 degrees in Fargo, 47 in Grand Forks. It's 53 in Devil's Lake and 50 in Roseau and in Badette here to start off the day today. Not too bad. The wind is out of the south and it is a little brisk though, so that's going to cut into any warmer feel you might have as you step out the door. We're looking at some 20s for your wind gusts out of the south at the moment. A 23-mile-per-hour gust in Fargo right now. And we've got a system that's going to move through. That's what's helping to kick up the winds and will bring us some clouds and potentially some showers too today too. We're looking at some areas of cloud cover that will increase heading into the afternoon, and some of those clouds may produce, and this is going to be isolated to even just a sprinkle or two, but still the potential's there, and that'll be more likely in northeastern Minnesota today. So if you are heading out to the bus stop this morning, here's what you can expect. Temperatures again into the 40s with the wind. That will mean you'll probably want that jacket, that extra layer here to start off the day today, but the afternoon's going to feel a lot better. We're going to be into the upper 60s in Fargo, some of us in the south hitting 70. There will be a moment or two of passing clouds. Some of us up in northwest Minnesota will see more of that today. And taking a look at that planner again, we're just looking at conditions that should be pretty quiet throughout the day and into the afternoon, aside from that wind. Here's a look at your 7-day planner. 60s to low 70s through the week. Looking really good here.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much this morning.
A Minnesota duck hunter is in the hospital after clinging to a boat for several hours before being rescued. The Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office says someone reported hearing a man calling for help in a wildlife area around 5 Saturday night. Deputies had to use a drone to locate him on Rice Lake north of Brainerd.
That part of the lake is described as very swampy. Officers from the DNR moved in on a flat-bottom mud boat, and they found an area man in his 60s hanging onto the back of his boat. Now, he was cold but conscious and able to talk. There's no word on his condition this morning. Police are searching for a Hillsborough woman who hasn't been heard from since last Wednesday. Now, 39-year-old Lisa Ersted was seen on a Ring doorbell leaving her home around 11:45 last night.
She was wearing a black jacket with the wording Vulcan on the back, blue jeans, and was carrying a brown purse. Ersted was not seen getting into a vehicle. Anyone with any information is asked to call the Trail County Sheriff's Department.
And I should clarify, it was last Wednesday night she was seen. Last Wednesday night they last saw this woman.
We spoke with Fargo police just a few hours ago, and they tell us there's still no sign of a missing 80-year-old Fargo man who hasn't been seen for more than 3 days now, since Thursday night. Police and rescue teams have been searching the area around Mapleview Memory Care, where 80-year-old Robert McKinnon lived.
Police are urging people to keep their eyes open for McKinnon, and some members of the community are now taking the extra step of going out and actively searching for him themselves. One is a local nurse who spent hours searching the area by foot with a flashlight on a night that McKinnon was reported missing. Now she has covered about 5.5 miles looking for any sign of that missing man.
I was hoping, I really wanted to find him right away, and that was my whole purpose of getting out there right away as soon as I could. I hope he's somewhere safe, and I have faith that we still can find him.
If you spot Robert McKinnon or have any information, call 911.
3 Minnesota congressmen are now taking heat for flying on a Delta Airlines plane home from Washington, D.C. on Friday night, just 2 days after they shared Air Force One with President Donald Trump. Pete Stauber, Tom Emmer, and Jim Hagedorn were all on the same Delta Airlines flight, despite the airline's restrictions on passengers recently exposed to COVID-19.
The president announced late Thursday night that he had COVID-19. The Minnesota Democratic Party chairman says the congressman put the health and safety of other passengers at serious risk. Hagedorn says the 3 men had tested negative and that the airline knew of their situation. They made the decision to fly based upon the facts. The North Dakota Supreme Court could consider a dispute over whether Governor Doug Burgum had the authority to close businesses during the coronavirus pandemic. A district judge last week refused to dismiss a criminal case against a hair salon operator accused of violating the governor's order last spring.
Burgum in late March issued executive orders temporarily restricting or closing some businesses, including hair salons, to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Now, the independent contractors who operate a salon inside an assisted living facility in Minot say they will appeal last Wednesday's rulings. So let's take a look at the recent COVID-19 numbers. North Dakota is reporting 416 new cases of COVID-19 and 3 new deaths from the virus. 274 people have now died in the state.
In Minnesota, there are 1,048 new cases and 7 new deaths, bringing the death toll to 2,080. Officials say a lawsuit that has held up the construction of the FM diversion project could be settled out of court.
Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney says the Diversion Authority plans to meet this week with the Richland-Wilkin Joint Powers Authority. That's a group of upstream residents who have urged that the project will lead to more flooding on their land. Now, Mahoney tells KFGO Radio that the Diversion Board voted in executive session to offer a settlement to that group. A 2-week lane closure in North Fargo will start today. North and southbound traffic on 25th Street North between Main and 1st Avenue North will be reduced to 1 lane. That started about an hour ago. Crews are making storm sewer and street surface repairs. The road is expected to be open in about 2 weeks.
And don't forget, starting tomorrow, work on South University Drive between 40th Avenue and El Cano Drive, which could mess with your commute. The city of Fargo says the southbound lane will close and northbound will be down to one lane as crews work on a water main. That stretch of road is expected to reopen after October 23rd. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Today's question: about a quarter of people do this after they buy a car.
The answer is they give it a name. Lisa, did you have a name for your
I don't have a name for my car.
How about your first car? Did you have one for that?
My motorcycle is named Vivian, though.
Oh, I love that.
Vivi.
My first car ever was named Beulah.
Beulah. That kind of helps me picture what kind of vehicle that
Absolutely what you think it looks like. That's what it was. And remember, you can play along every day. Just head to the Facebook page. But the Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start. However, the Valley today, it rolls on. We have more live up-to-the-minute news and weather coming up for you right now on the Fargo CW, and stay connected throughout the day on your VNL News app.